It is now 7:00 p.m. I'd like to go ahead and start this meeting. Thank you, ma'am. The City Council for the City of Brookshire, Texas will hold a regular session City Council meeting on June 20th, 2024 at 7:00 p.m. in City Council chambers for the purpose of considering the following. Before we go any further, I would like to have a prayer and do the pledge, please. Anyone?
Father God, we thank you, Lord, for another day that you've blessed us to see, Lord, and we thank you for the assembling of the citizens and council and the mayor. And Father God, we ask that you lead and guide us and help us to make good decisions that will be pleasing to your sight, Lord, and moving the city forward. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Miss Molina, will you do the roll call for us?
Alderman Green,
Present.
Alderman Taylor. Here. Alderman McAnally. Mayor Branch,
Here.
Alderman McDade,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Richards.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay. Next agenda item is public comments. According to the list, no one has signed up, so we'll move on to number 6. Consider and take action on consent agenda items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and generally enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule occurs when a council member requests one or more items removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. Letter A, approve the minutes from the special city council meeting on Tuesday, June the 4th. Letter B is approve Brookshire Police Department monthly report for May 2024. Anyone have any questions about any discussion? Don't make the motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for special council meeting Tuesday, June 4th, and Brookshire Police Department monthly report for May 2024.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's move on to agenda item number 7. New business. Letter A, discussion and possible action to reinstate and set maximum budget for city festivals, including Cinco de Mayo, Juneteenth, 4th of July, and Christmas.
MLK needs to be added to that.
You what?
MLK.
MLK.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, do you want to explain?
Oh, yes, okay. So I'll pass this out. Ms. McDade and I met today and kind of talked about it. So just for clarification on the city's end, the festivals weren't canceled as festivals. The reason that they were put on hold is because of the funding mechanism in which we were funding them. We were funding them through hotel motel money, and it was brought to the attention of the city that the festivals were not meeting the comptroller's criteria to be eligible for the hotel motel funding. So one of the recommendations that I made was that the festivals can continue, we just need to fund them out of the general fund, which is our special events line item. So my recommendation is, at the last meeting, we moved some money from miscellaneous into the special events, which brought that total current line item to 17,000. Currently, as of today, which there are a few changes that we're having to make based off of the Juneteenth and, you know, with the schedule changing, some cancellations and stuff that we're having to back out of that account. That current balance is $10,262.63. So I'm proposing that we move an additional $8,000 into the from the miscellaneous account to the special events account, which would allow that account to have a total of $25,000 and would get us through July 4th. Because the only remaining event that we would have before the end of the budget year is in August, which is National Night Out, and we fund that half through administration, half through the police department. And so I think that a fair budget, just based on what we've spent in previous years, is about $3,500. So if we fund that special event line item at $25,000 to get us through the end of the budget year, I think we would be safe. But I'm gonna pass one of these out to everybody, and this is just a rough estimate. But since we are going into budget time, that would assume that for each of these events in October, I have our trunk or treat, and that is a split, that's a split cost between police department and administration. I have $3,500 there. Christmas event is split between administration and some of EDC, or that's how they've done it traditionally. We don't have to do that going forward. But we have $12,000 for that. Police department toy drive is $5,000. They fund that, so that won't come out of administration. That'll come out of police. The MLK Unity Brunch comes out of administration. We had $12,000 this year. We spent $5,129.16. Cinco de Mayo we did not have this year, but that would be a budget amount of $12,000. Juneteenth budgeted amount of $12,000. July 4th budgeted amount of $12,000, and National Night Out a budget amount of $3,500. So I will, if we go with that budgeting amount, that would put in next year's budget. We're not there yet, but just so that everybody know planning going forward, that would make that special event line item $72,000. So that would cover all of our existing special events that we've had in the past. Kindergarten.
MLK, MLK, you be on there.
And again, this is all, I mean, this is flexible, this is up for discussion, but kind of just roughly. And we're still, the Juneteenth, we're still, a couple, we don't have that accurate yet.
The MLK, that's added in the budget, right? It's at the
That's
top.
a brunch. It's not a festival, it's a brunch.
Well,
was a
that's
past
that's
event.
what it was called this year,
Mhm.
but we won't address MLK until the next budget year, cause it's in the next budget cycle. So it says MLK Unity Brunch only because that's what it was called this year.
Okay, I'm just trying to
Mhm.
make sure that everything's.
Yeah, so
covered.
MLK is on there, we can,
Okay.
and we can change or format that into whatever type of event we want that to be.
Okay. Thank you.
So council, as far as action tonight, anything you'd like to do for the 4th of July, I would recommend putting into your motion tonight. Put in your max budget, although we may
We've
not
already
be
done
doing
it.
that's already in the budget,
Mhm.
okay. So if you've got your time, place, and location that you could give out to the public tonight, that would be good for 4th of July. But your other events and what Jennifer passed out, we'll take that up with the next budget.
And discuss the location?
You
want to talk about
All
it.
righty, okay, so the location for July 4th Festival will be here. Actually, we'll use the amphitheater, and it'll pretty much be a block festival. We'll block off the streets from Cooper to, am I saying that backwards? Yeah, these two streets, we'll block those off, and we'll have the festival here, and we'll still have the fireworks show at Hovis Park. And the estimated time frame will be from, I have something, okay, I know earlier we discussed, 2 to 8? Starting time will be at 2 o'clock. We really hadn't got the exact ending time because it will have to be enough time so that everyone can pack up and go over to the park, so.
Kinda come and go.
Sounds good? All right.
In the past, I believe we have had a parade associated with that, haven't we?
Not for July 4th. I never known. Right. Not for July 4th.
They're saying no, Tony, in case you didn't hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Already secured several of the vendors for July 4th, so we were able to jump on that pretty quickly and get those secured.
Any other discussion?
I had recommended to Ms. McDade that we assign a committee to help with that, much like we did with Juneteenth, so that we can kind of divide and conquer and everybody can handle different areas. So I don't know if you have anybody specific to assign to that.
Not at the time.
That's fine. We can, we can talk
Okay.
about it after the meeting,
All right.
but I would highly recommend, again, just like we did with Juneteenth, have a
Okay.
committee that everybody can help out.
Okay, sounds good.
Green, you have anything?
We do need a motion to.
I've-
Okay.
I'm trying to get that. Now I'm ready for a motion.
A motion to approve.
Second.
I move that we add $8,000
Oh, I forgot about it.
approval to the special events fund, specifically for the 4th of July event, to get us through the end of this budget cycle.
You already.
I moved over on that motion. It was just more specific, if that's what you wanted your motion to be,
Okay.
to move the 8,000 over.
Okay, yes.
I think
So-
we discussed that already, right?
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
I
you,
did
maybe
mo-
you didn't hear us.
Hmm?
Yeah, maybe, we discussed that already, right? The moving the money. Maybe you didn't hear us on your
But that
thing.
needs to be the motion.
It needs to be in the
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the motion she needs is to move to authorize the 8,000. I'd
Well,
recommend, just because this is a little bit.
I motion to authorize the 8,000 to be moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. McAnally?
Aye.
Got him on. Okay. Next is, letter B, discussion and possible action to create a committee for the purpose of the fact of finding and making recommendations to city council concerning the issue of animal control in the city of Brookshire.
Is your mic on now? Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Here's another one. You have two.
Maybe talk a little closer to it, think for motion. Just quotation.
Please do, I can't hear you.
There you go, you have two now.
It's right here, I can't do anything.
You got two. You have
So there's no reason why we can't hear. Am I the only one? Y'all hear me? No. Oh,
I had
so
two.
we can't
Oh, I
hear you.
think that one is Erica's.
Okay.
There you go.
Anyway. Discussion?
Oh, okay, you heard it. So this is one of my things. We have a lot of animals that are stray animals that are running about the city, and you know, it's the responsibility of the human beings to take care of the animals because they can't take care of themselves. So I want to have this discussion to see, can we maybe form some type of committee or some type of investigation to see if we can get some kind of type of animal control policy or procedures in place.
I think in the past, there was a agreement with the county. But I do understand how big Waller County is. I don't know how many officers they have, too. In the past, we went out for, we used a contractor. Me personally, I think he did a good job in cleaning a lot of the animals up. But there were issues because he was independent. But the responsibility solely lied on him because he was licensed to do that. At the time, we did have a place where we can actually take those animals and drop them off. We don't have that now. And then there were some issues with him with animals being euthanized and before time frame. It was a mess. I know we don't have an animal control officer. And to get an animal control officer, a lot of things have to be put in place to do that. My suggestion will be to go out and use another independent animal control officer to do that. One of the issues that we had, another issue we had, was the animal control officers were making house calls, removing bees and stuff like that, which was the responsibility of the homeowner. And that caused a little issue with him. And, you know, it just kind of went back and forth, but then he eventually left. I personally think he did a good job because it was much worse than now, but right now it's starting to build up. We have a lot of animals running around. But that would be my recommendation for the committee, if the committee is formed, to use an independent person and not solely rely on the county because the county's too big. And you may see an animal over here and call the county, but they're on the north end of the county and it takes them forever to get over there and the animal's gone.
Question, what happened to the, okay.
So, yes, you are correct. Like, for a long time, the city did have a contract with the county. When the city had a contract with the county, it was roughly $5,000 a year. It was an interlocal agreement, and so it was $5,000 commitment on the city's part to the county for those services. Since then, animal control with the county has changed a lot. Chief Hines and I have actually met with the sheriff and discussed this issue. The interlocal now is $20,000 a year to have that service with the county, but they only have 2 officers, and like you said, the county is rather large for just 2 officers, so if somebody calls about a vicious dog in their front yard, it could be hours before they get there. It's not an immediate relief. So I actually came to council with Chief Hines in February or March. So we have been in conversations with an individual who does contractual animal control work. Mrs. Bagley has worked with us, and we've actually drafted a contract. And quite honestly, the reason that we haven't secured that contract yet kind of falls in line with some of the things that you were saying, is that we got to what if? What if we pick up 10 dogs in a week? This individual has a holding facility, but it's only 4 kennels. What do we do with the other animals? We don't have a facility. We are not a licensed facility. Many of the rescues in our area are full, and there are many rescues that have kind of been exhausted by a lot of what the county had been doing the last couple of years. So we kept running into these questions of what if, what would we do? We even reached out to a neighboring city and asked if we could interlocal with them. They have just gotten over a huge hump in animal control services, and that wasn't something that they were willing to do. So we're definitely cognizant of it, and we know that it's not going to be a perfect situation. We're just not. We have some other answers that we need answered. And so when Mr. Richards brought this up, we had an opportunity to discuss it, and I think that it would be beneficial to have a committee so that we can just candidly talk about what does this look like for the city. If we hire our own contractual animal control officer and then we are offering those services, obviously the first initiative of those services is not to just pick up animals and relocate them to a shelter. It's to educate and advocate for smart animal ownership within the city, and a lot of that starts with advocating to the dogs that are being picked up in the form of citations, warnings, notifications. And then what does it look like after that? Do we give a warning process? Then do we give a ticket? Then do we pick the dog up? We're not sure. We don't have all those policies and procedures in place. So I think it would be beneficial to have a committee formed, recommendations of members for that to be on the committee, and I think that would help further our decision to go with an independent contractor for that type of service.
Sure.
Hi, everyone, I'm Ruth Rodriguez, and I am an animal lover, and I do everything I can that's within my human power to help animals. I also have a long history since 2013 with the city of Brookshire and animal control, and based on what I experienced back then up until today, there are a lot of things that need to be addressed before we can get to the end result, which is what Ms. Jones said, Ms. Ward said, to have an educated public and not just take a stray animal, a homeless animal, and just put it somewhere. What works better over time for the community now and over time for the future, for, you know, the future kids, future residents of Brookshire, is that education part. And I was doing some research this summer recently, and there are people all over the county who have little food stations and watering stations. What that does is interaction with an animal from a distance. A fed animal is not going to be scavenging and causing damage. That's the scientific. Nothing is perfect, but the idea is until we in Brookshire can come up with the best possible solution or the best case scenario for the same problem every other city has, stray animals, is we can do an insurance kind of thing, and it works. It keeps animals not hungry, they don't go scavenging, they don't go getting crazy hungry, and it's a humane way, and I think it's a reflection of our city if we can behave humanely in that manner. Until we get to that dream that I can tell everybody here has, to make Brookshire have the best animal welfare program. The Texas Humane legislation, I would love to see them. I would just about do anything to see them part of this building process. Texas Humane Legislation Network is advocates for animals in Austin, Texas. To say that is not just here's what they've done. They're so strong in their numbers. They get bills and they pass bills. The most recent two that I can remember are making sure that a dog is not tethered on those heavy chains. It takes a lot of work to get from an idea, like we all have here, to passing that bill through people that are our senators. Kitzman, Mr. Hill, Bell, Cecil Bell. These are people I didn't even know existed. Well, I knew about the Kitzman, but anyway, I didn't know them personally, so I started learning about how to advocate. And it takes a lot to change the fate of the homeless, whether there's an animal or a person. So I would love to sit with someone, and I understand Ms. Ward likes to sit and talk to people and educate her, Ms. Ward, about the Texas Humane Legislation Network. I know they would love to be part of this building part of the situation here in Brookshire. So we can have an awesome 21st century, 22nd century animal welfare program. Thank you so much.
I don't think there is a more passionate person about animals in the state of Texas than Ms. Rodriguez. And I will definitely push for her to be on that committee. Because she just explained some stuff that I didn't even know.
I agree. I agree.
Hey, y'all. Mr. Green, you said that you want to make her a recommendation?
I second it too.
Yes. I mean, we can start the committee. I don't know anybody else who would even, that's here, that would even want to volunteer for it.
If somebody is interested and, you know, we can definitely get the information out, you can advocate with, you know, your groups, your network of people, they can email Ms. Paulina, their interest in wanting to be on the board, and then we can bring those back to you guys to form a board from.
Okay.
That would work.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would also do one or two council members.
I know it's needed. My daughter loved cats, and I rescued a cat, and I couldn't handle the behavior of the cat because when we were gone, the cat got mad and tore up stuff. Cats do some strange stuff, and we ended up taking the cat to Sheldon, I think it was Sheldon, Texas, to a rescue out there, and I had to drive way out there just so I can provide a good home. And I even reached out to Marie. Y'all remember her? Marie something. She was real active here in our community when it came to animals, and she couldn't find a place. So finding a place for these animals is not going to be easy. It's going to be some work, and if you don't do it right, then the media will come down on you.
So you wanna volunteer to be on the committee?
Nope.
I'm like, I think that's what he's saying.
Nope. No, I had a problem with one cat. No.
Are we gonna take that vote?
I'll make a motion that we form a committee for stray animals here in the city of Brookshire.
A second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone else?
No, our internet went down, so we actually had an AT&T tower go down, one of the
Yes.
main towers in Brookshire today, and it affected Brookshire and also Fulshire. So they
What-
had actually, we had to have a tower deployed to the PD station to run some of the PD equipment, so if you drive by, there's a large tower, but since the internet has gone down, I'm gonna connect Mr. McAnally. He just wants to listen in, he can't be a quorum if we can't see his face, but I'm gonna call him and put him on the speaker.
We don't have consolidated here.
But it just went down.
Our internet, so I don't, they informed me earlier that if they are fixing something and trying to, I don't know technology, but they told me-
I've been dealing with that all day today.
Me too.
But our consolidated is still up and running, but
We have consolidated, but, and I don't know what's going on, so, I
I'm on
can't
to
call them.
Verizon.
I don't have phone service, I'm on SOS, sorry.
Me too. It's because we with AT&T.
Well, I have Verizon, so, you know, can you hear me now?
Two. No,
I can.
I don't got none either.
Y'all ain't got a hard line? Let me see.
Oh, there you go.
You got it?
yeah.
My phone been hanging up all day on my calls.
AT&T.
Thanks for me.
Get out of here.
Hey Tony, you're on speakerphone, I'm gonna mute you, but you can hear us.
Okay, hey, I'm the one in the middle of the woods supposed to have internet problems.
Well, if you mute, he can't. Never mind, I'm not muting you.
Okay.
Never mind. Just kidding. You can't hear us if I mute you. Just kidding. Joe. Okay.
Do we have to ask for his vote or not?
No, because he wasn't,
Can't see
his
his
face
face.
wasn't on the screen, so.
Okay. Is there any more recommendations?
Who else y'all wanna add to the? They said they was gonna reach out to some people.
I mean, as of right now, but we also can come back and, not come back, but,
Talk about it.
yeah. So that's no more Recommendations. We'll move on to letter C. Discussion and possible action to approve trial balance for the fiscal year of 2020 through 2021 audit. Was that better?
I make a motion to approve the trial balance audit from 2020 to 2021.
A second.
Never mind. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I keep forgetting about him.
He can't because he's not on video.
I know, but I'm just saying. Anyway. Ooh, boy. Okay. Letter D. Did I ask all in favor? Yes.
Yeah.
Letter D, discussion possible action to engage with Baker Tilly to perform single audit service for fiscal year of 2023.
So, refresh my memory, is this the audit for the grant because we're over 10 million? Is it 10 million or how much is it? Could you give us some background information on this?
I don't remember the threshold. I think if it's over $740,000, then we are required by the federal government to do a single unit audit. And so they come in and do a specific form of auditing just for that federal grant money.
And is that accumulation of all the grants together, the 700,000, 700?
Yes,
Thousand,
issued by
okay.
this, issued by.
And that did go out to RFQ. So Baker Tilly is the company that won the RFQ. We had 3 applicants.
So I make a motion to approve the Baker Tilly perform a single audit for 2023.
Second.
Second.
Tony, you don't have to second, you don't have a vote right now, you're just listening.
Oh, thanks.
A for effort.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now letter E, discussion and possible action to agree to repave, install new culverts, cut new ditches with the assistance of the city engineer for both 13th Street and Butternut Street.
Good evening, council.
Wait, could you hold on a second, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is another action that I brought up. That Butternut Street and 13th Street, I drove down that area, and the streets are in horrible condition. The ditches are not dug out. The culverts are in bad condition. So I think that we need to explore the option of trying to get something done with these roads in this area of the city. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're fine. No, you're fine. For some bonus material, what you have in front of you on the table is in 2020, the city of Brookshire did a road assessment citywide. And so what the table in front of you is our attempt to reconcile at least the data from the 2020 road assessment to some current pricing, which I will say, even as I speak, some of the asphalt pricing we're seeing is a little bit over the place. So we've done our best there based on some current pricing. But on the table, the bluish shading, those are the streets that are included in the ARPA grant that the city is currently working towards, or the city has the grant, but those are the roads that are kind of incorporated into that grant pool. I've also highlighted 13th and Butternut for this conversation with kind of that process. Butternut, obviously, the city council, you are the ones that make the decisions. One of the things I will say, just for Butternut doesn't currently really have clear right-of-way. It's a little confusing, or not confusing, it's a little unclear the status of that right-of-way. You look at one road log, it's considered a private street. You look at another, it's public. If you look at the appraisal district, they don't have the right-of-way cut out. So one of the things that, to improve it, what we would recommend is to do a little bit of just not field work, but just some room, just to make sure the right-of-way is clean and clear, and the city doesn't have only half the road or something crazy with it, since there is some confusion. But again, obviously, it is a road. It serves multiple homes. So the city could embark in that. We just would recommend we kind of clean up the right-of-way just to make sure it's clean. But like I said, there in this table, we've kind of given you some rough prices. I didn't drive down exactly Butternut. I kind of looked down the road, but I drove down 13th. So generally, from the condition, part of it you could probably repave and you would extend the life of it, but some of it would definitely qualify for probably a rebuild. Which we'd mill it down, we'd redo the base and build it back up again. Much like some of the other roads that are part of the ARPA money. So that's a possibility. So we just need direction. We can dig into what that actual cost is going through the culverts. There is a drainage issue kind of at 359 that would need to get resolved with kind of TxDOT. The way they've built what's referred to as an SET. It's a safety in treatment on those culverts, kind of blocks the flow a little bit. Not really blocks the flow, it makes it difficult for it to get around to the 359 ditch. So what we would look at in this project, if the city wanted to move forward with it, is how do we maximize the capacity of that so this road can be graded to drain to 359 like it mostly does. And yeah, that's...
So one of the issues that we've run into with 13th Street is that when TxDOT came in and did,
Sort of.
if you drive down 13th Street, if you're driving down west towards 359, TxDOT came in, when they redid the culverts there at 13th, they actually put in a concrete A culvert. So when the water is flowing towards 359 to get off of those homes down 13th Street, when the water hits 359, it has to take a 90-degree angle. The water has to move north. Then it has to then take a 180 turn and go through the culvert and then flow south, which is the outfall of it. So I've actually been working with the drainage district on how we solve that problem. That's a TxDOT issue. TxDOT has not been very responsive with us. In fact, when Craig had reached out to them about something not too long ago, they acted like they weren't even doing construction in Brookshire. So one culvert, we're gonna have to work around how to make that work in order, if we do our part, will the drainage be complete without fixing that culvert? No. That culvert has to be repaired in order to let water out. A second thing, just to kind of remind each of you, I think we probably talk about it every year, but the current pricing right now for road rebuild is roughly around $500,000 for half a mile. So you'll see 13th Street is 0.27 of a mile, and it's priced at $283,000. So just kind of keep those numbers floating in your mind when you're talking about committing to doing road repair. Those are numbers, like if we want to go out of the priority listing and put those in the budget, kind of what that price tag looks like. You're not looking at doing a whole lot of road, so we kind of need to be very specific with where we put that money. That's not to say that 13th doesn't meet that.
It's well overdue.
But it's you don't get a big bang for your buck with doing roads.
What is the priority listing?
So it's listed on here. On this sheet, you'll see when it goes through like the 2020 assessment, that's what was done with like the comprehensive plan of the priority listing. So I will say, typically, and Craig can speak to this as well, when it comes to engineering, you don't want to do roads before ditches. You do ditches before roads so that the road is, you're not messing up the process. Internally with our public works crew, right, we just completed
A lot of rebuild down Fifth Street. We have South Street, Frat, 11th, and then 13th. That's what is on our internal priority list. And
For the
that's-
drainage, for the,
For the
drainage.
drainage, yes.
Who's paying for that?
Do what?
Who's paying for that?
We're doing that internally, our
Okay,
public works department.
can we move some things around? I mean, how long has that priority listing been out? You said 2020?
well, for the road log, yeah, it was developed in 2020.
Where in
Some of the roads have been tweaked or have been worked on since then. But on this table, phase one was kind of, at least our review of the road assessment from 2020. Phase one was kind of more of the streets that at that time just needed more of a surface touch. So I'll say aesthetic repairs.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, it really depends on how low you go
Yeah.
when you're doing the roads. You can kind of, gives you a variable with the price. Now, if you go a certain depth, then it's gonna cost a lot more money.
So we're in
A
2024.
road like that is not heavy traffic, so you don't have to go as deep when you
You can
pave
get
the
by
road.
with-
So, so that's 2020 and we're in 2024.
Correct.
You can't change a priority listing and move some things around to fix those roads?
Oh, no,
'Cause
if
the roads that are on that you mentioned on that report, they're in much better shape than Butternut and 13.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can, I mean, as council, I mean, this was the priority that was put together in that plan. We've kind of summarized it in a table, so you can kind of see where it falls in the pricing. But no, we can adjust at least from a city budget, we can adjust the pricing. Now, from an ARPA grant, because of that status, there may not be a way to add or remove projects from, but we'd have to check with the grant writer on that. But no, any of these roads, if city council would like to bump to the front of the list, we can definitely work on it. So one of the actions out of this could be is you kind of authorize us to basically do a more detailed look at the drainage, which good news is, assuming we can get TxDOT to agree to it, there is a solution there that we've come across before in this situation. So there is a workable solution to resolve it. So we could come back at your next council meeting and kind of put more of a detailed cost for 13th Street and Butternut with both the drainage, all the culverts, the driveways, and fixing that drainage, and then you can see that full price. This is a high-level cost, just based on some unit pricing per square yard. So that's, what we could do. That way you have the full picture to make a.
When this list was made, it was, we went through and we chose certain roads that could be paid for with the city and through economic development. And that's how it was done. Really didn't have the funding at the time to pay for a lot of roads. That's why this list is still so long. But there is a lot of stipulations with EDC money. It has to be businesses on that street. I think all of the street, the section that you pave. Now, there are some streets now that it was residential. There's all pretty much businesses on the economic development can actually pay for some of these roads.
Yep.
But I know we're talking about Butternut 13 right now.
Yeah, and we just, like I said, that's what I came to talk about was Butternut and 13th, but we wanted to take the 2020 assessment and kind of clean it up, at least a table format, so you could see the individual roads, at least in 2020. Some of the phase one streets that are highlighted in blue, there's actually pockets now that are worse than just aesthetic repairs. But yes, some of those, from our view of the ARPA money, it was try to touch as many roads as possible to get them kind of up to speed, and while the city found funding for the more substantial improvements.
How many of those roads on that report have been completed and done already?
I know Stella's had some work. That's the only one that I'm aware of.
Not many. I mean, there's been patchwork.
Yeah, there's been patchwork.
To speak.
Yeah.
I mean, Margie, do you know? What roads since 2020 have had major repair done to them?
Yeah, it was First Street. First Street had.
First has had some work, yeah. First got some.
First, that's where I live at. I must have been a short spot over there.
They didn't do the whole street.
Well, if you could, work on Butternut and 13 and do an assessment and also bring us back a report to show us what's been done and completed already
Yeah,
since
we can do it.
2020, please.
Sure. Yep,
Okay.
no problem.
Can you explain the ARPA funds?
So the ARPA funds, American Reinvestment Rescue. Basically, the city was awarded. Have to remind me how much the total grant was. It was basically out of that pool of money, the city was awarded a few $100,000, and ARPA funds allows you to use that funds for various things, and so the city has basically allocated the ARPA funds to cover street
I
repair.
think we have about 750,000 is what was carved out specifically just for streets. So we
Yep.
had an allocation that went to PD, which covered equipment, body cams, computers in the vehicles, as well as our software system, radar guns. And then the remaining 750, if I can look it up to get you the right number, was allocated for roads. And these were the roads that came from the comprehensive plan for that ARPA plan.
Thank you.
So, and we just need to, or the city has to have a contract, a construction contract signed by the end of the year for those roads, if I remember my
And
time.
we are very close to having that.
But yes, I will come back, we'll come back next month with a detailed cost and kind of review of those two streets. Plus, we'll give you a summary of kind of what the city has worked on since 2020.
you.
Works for me?
Yep, thanks.
All right, thank you.
We'll call that no action. Okay. Letter F, discuss and possible action to adopt resolution 1485 to designate authorized signatures for the community development block grant mitigation program for GLO state contract number 24-065-058-E568.
Do you have the details of what this grant's for?
Yes, this is the joint grant with the county where they will be doing work on Stallnick Road for drainage. The county, we sign on as a participant with the county on the GLO grant.
How much is it?
I have to go back to look. We have lots of grants going on right now, so I'm not sure.
Is it a $1.3 million grant? Is it 1.3? Okay. So have you read the details of this document?
Yes, it's been a while, but yes.
Because it's been a while. So I read the details of the document, okay, and there's quite a few things in here that are very important that needs to be done. So this is not another failed program. This is not a failed program, you know. We need to have a committee that administer and monitor the performance of this grant. Okay?
We have a grant administrator, Grant Works.
Okay. So they're gonna do all of the things, for instance, in page, I think it's appendix 3. Let's see here. Yep. Section policy 3. So Grant Works is gonna do everything that has to do with this grant.
The city, part of the grant funding is allocated to administrative services, and so we went out to bid for a process, and we contracted with Grant Works, and that's their sole purpose is managing the grant. They handle all of the reporting, all of the follow-up, they coordinate with all of the contractors, They do all of the financial statements. They organize directly with the auditor. Basically, the only time we see the information is once it has already been completed, they send it to Lakeisha. We have a monthly meeting, we review the benchmarks that have been met in accordance with the grant, and then the mayor signs off on them. And then we'll also have a meeting when they send the mayor the checks that are distributed in the balances, because it's not all paid at once, it's paid out in performance payment.
Well, I read the details of the grant, and there's a lot of stipulation here that says the city of Brookshire has a lot of things to do in here. Okay? So if GrantWorks is gonna do all of the things that the city of Brookshire is supposed to do,
Yes, so we pay them to do that for us. And Lakeisha is their point of contact with the city. So like this, for instance, so this resolution with these policies that have to be passed, they make sure that we have this document to put to council. So they sent this to Lakeisha sends it to me, and we put it on the council.
Citizens Participation Plan, Section 3, Excessive Force Policy, Limited English Proficiency Standard Plan, Policy and Grievance Procedure, Code of Conduct, Fair Housing Policy. GrantWorks going to do all that.
We provide that to them, yes. And then
The city of Brookshire provides that to them.
correct, we provide that information to them, and they compile it into our file for the GLO.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure that we don't have another failed program, that we monitor and do everything that we need to do.
Have a failed grant program?
Not grant program, I'm just saying that we don't have a failed, I'm just trying to make sure we don't have a failed program, that the city of Brookshire do everything that we need to do to follow all the procedures and processes to stay straight with the grants and all of the programs. That's why I read the whole document, I'm asking questions about it. Okay. I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying,
Yeah, no,
you know,
it's,
in general.
And that's one,
In general.
and that's one reason why we utilize GrantWorks, is because that's what they specialize in. And I'll be completely transparent. There are things that have come to our office and regarding things with the grant that just are very hard, it's confusing, the way that the federal government writes it. And GrantWorks has been wonderful with us being able to send it to them and say, can you please explain what this means? And then they are able to reply back and let us know, okay, this is.
So they're gonna give you what type of performance report are they gonna give you
We get a
monthly?
monthly performance
Okay.
report from them.
Okay. You're gonna share that with council each month? Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? You
I make
have-
a motion that we approve resolution 1485.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me. Oh, it's more than that. Okay. Letter G, discussion and possible action to adopt resolution 1486 regarding civil rights, which include the following policy. Citizen participation plan, grievance procedures, section 3, excessive force policy, limited English proficiency and standard plans, section 504, policy and grievance procedures, code of conduct policy, fair housing policy, and H, well, I guess we'll stop there first.
That's tied to the
The previous.
previous 1485.
Yeah.
Yep. Make a motion to approve item G.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. need that. Can you hear that? But I'm just putting something in. Okay. le- Letter H, discussing possible action to accept the fiscal year of 2024 through 2025 budget tax adoption workshop and meeting calendar.
I make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 budget tax adoption workshop meeting calendar.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Move to letter I, discussion and possible action to adopt ordinance for the city of Brookshire's Texas municipal retirement system, authorizing, what is that? Actually determine city contributions for rate payments.
For the new council members, every year we did this from TMRS, and basically what this is just a resolution adopting what our annual rate is gonna be for that year. So last year, we came in and we adjusted our retirement plan. When we adjusted it last year, we were a 2-to-1 plan at a 5% match. TMRS only offers 3 options, 5%, 6%, and 7%. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, council had approved to change the matching from 5% to 6%. However, that was never done with TMRS. Council approved it, but it was never reflected in the system. So we came in last year and we upped the contribution rate to 7%. So as employees, we contribute 7% and the city matches at 14%. It's a 2-to-1. It doesn't matter what your contribution rate is. Every year TMRS is gonna send us an adoption letter to adopt our rate. So the rate that we're adopting this year is 15.53%. Where you'll see on here where they're talking about the statutory maximum. The statutory maximum used to be, I think it's 13.5%. What has happened with, over the years with inflation and the way that the market is going is that statutory maximum of 13.5%, every city that's at a 7% 2-to-1 has now exceeded that 13.5. So basically that's just acknowledging that we know that it's over the 13.5%. One of the things that we changed last year in our retirement plan is that, and Monique and the mayor were here, is we added what we call a cost of living addition to those people who have already retired or when they retire. So if the mayor goes to draw his retirement, TMRS is actually going to reflect his retirement accrually each year over, he is going to get that cost of living. So it's not like if he retires this year, he's gonna get $1,000, a month for the rest of his retirement. TMRS is gonna go in through our account and they're actually going to offer him the cost of living adjustment that the pool issues each year to be 4%, 5%, that's dictated by the pool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you explained this because I read it 3 times. And when they said we're over the max,
Right.
which is 13.5.
It was
Right,
very
well,
interesting.
yeah.
We had them come last year and explain it because just reading it is very hard to understand.
So you concur with the term?
Yeah, that's back here, right over my head. I don't know how that.
I mean, so we had alternative review this, or is this something that?
It's a standard TMRS, like I think Mr. Green he can attest, every year they come to
Yeah.
us with basically we're just approving.
It sounds good.
This is-
Yes.
I agree. You have the experience. You have more experience than I do.
It sounds good.
It's routine. Every year you're gonna have the same thing.
And one of the things that is different about TMRS, just so that everyone is aware, if you make a change to TMRS, TMRS does not go with our fiscal year. So our fiscal year is October to September. TMRS goes January to December. So that is one of the only few that does not line up with our fiscal year. So if we make changes, all new retirement investments start January 1.
Any further discussion? Motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the ordinance for the city of Brookshire's tax municipal retirement system.
Second.
Did I say that loud enough?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving along. Next is J, discussion and possible action to revise the newest Economic Development Corporation financial policy to include a penalties section. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I will refer it to Jennifer for background.
I can if you want. So, pass it over. The EDC had a financial policy that was recently amended. This council, I believe, adopted an amendment. Councilmember Richards suggested adding a penalty section to the, to keep the exact same policy but add a penalty section. Justin actually updated me last night, based on some BEDC discussions. So those changes need to be discussed. We were initially gonna copy and paste the penalty section from the first policy over to the second. We won't do that because that is, one, it's a criminal, they've got some criminal penalties outlined, which is not what we do on our internal policies. But I believe that the board last night was discussing doing some other penalties such as being removed from the board or
Right.
other levels of penalties. So I will get with Justin on that. He will get with BEDC and we will make that edit and bring it to council
All right,
at
thank
a
you.
future meeting.
Thank you.
April, I and J, and K.
So nothing on this one.
Right.
It includes K also, right?
No,
No?
case different.
Yeah, that's-
Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Discussion and possible action to appoint 3 new Economic Development Corporation board members as recommended by the current Economic Development Board.
I make a motion to appoint 3 new EDC board members. It's, I'm done.
I forgot to say.
Thought you had to know. To say the name. Yeah, the name.
The names.
So we selected.
Oh, you
Oh,
select,
oh, okay, yeah, go ahead. You have that part.
So we selected for nomination, right? 3 individuals. Do you need their names? 3 individuals.
And you have to do it
Steve-
individually.
Huh?
The vote has to be done individually.
But I think so. We can do. We don't have to do everybody, right? Okay. So I'd like to nominate Stephen Guy. Is it Stephen? Stephen is his name. Yeah, Stephen Guy to Economic Development Board.
Second.
Oh, okay.
You seconded, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next one. Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Trying to get out of here. Okay, the next person.
I nominated Nathaniel Richardson.
A second.
Hold on.
We waiting patiently.
I'm trying to make sure I get this right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Third.
Who is the next one?
You don't have to fill all 3 seats right now. If you wanna fill those 2 and proceed forward until you find another applicant, you can do that.
We'll do that.
That's all.
So what are we doing?
That's it.
Just two?
Just 2 for now.
Okay. Agenda item number 8. Executive section. I know.
Listen.
It's only gonna get fuller.
I know.
During the executive session, I have to ask y'all to step out, please.
Hey, no, see, but you took some game. Yeah. Some game that
Okay. I'm like, how did you
Yes,
move
ma'am.
and do this stuff?
it's
So
right,
easy.
like it's one after another. Same.
Sharon.
Do say out.
Okay. We're back in session. Agenda item number, hold on. Oh, she ain't back. Agenda item number 9, discussion and possible action resulting from executive session. None. Okay, agenda item number 10, future agenda items. I'll start with Mr. Green over there. You have anything, sir?
I don't know the name of the ordinance, the
Your mic.
number of the ordinance, but
Put
it's,
your mic down.
it's the, I don't know the number of the ordinance, but it has to do with encroachment. It was passed not that long ago. And I don't know, because a lot changed,
What are you talking about?
but it was passed. And if I'm not mistaken, it allows
Went from 7.5 to 10?
onto to the neighboring property.
Yes.
I'll have to, I'll find it and I'll get it to you, but that's what I want.
So you
on
want
the
to
agenda.
revisit
Yes.
the setbacks, residential setbacks?
Yes.
Okay.
Setbacks.
To reduce or expand?
Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. Green?
Not at this moment.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes, I would like, the code enforcer company to come out with a list of the things that they have done or a list of the things that they haven't. And I wanna add a lot to the list because it's too much, like now it's in summer. There's too much land growing up, tall trees, ain't nobody sending them no statement saying, I need you to cut this, or, okay, well, I haven't,
And
nobody's
if you
moving,
have
nobody
properties
moving.
that you want addressed, send them to us, and we can send them to Sylvia.
Anybody can do that. The
Oh,
public
I got with y'all about still on 10th
Yeah.
Street, cause we having a lot of complaints about them on 10th Street, right there.
But anyone can send in a complaint, like a
Okay.
code compliance complaint to us, and we can send her out. She comes on Fridays.
She's
so.
talking about the 10th Street. So on 10th Street, we're going to have,
What happened?
All you can do is
Okay, cause I've been asking this for a long time.
then I'm,
do you want her to come give a report to
Yes,
council?
please.
Okay.
along with Ms. Taylor's request, I would like to add revisiting amending the ordinance requiring street side parking.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ain't gonna say nothing if you having a party, Eric, but.
No. No, I do have something. Since she said that, revisiting the ordinance for the street side parking on Bain Street.
Well, let's,
Where the trucks was?
Pertaining
Miss-
to,
It's really
to
for the
truck
trucks,
parking.
though. It's the trucks though, not really the regular.
on what street?
Truck. Baines,
Baines.
Bain Street.
I think we can hit both with the same.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Mhm.
It should be,
Mhm.
anything else, sir?
That was it for me.
No, I said him. Said
No. Not this
he
moment.
forgot.
It might come back to me.
Oh, okay. All right. And that's it for you, Ms.
For
McDade?
now.
I
might
mean, Ms.
visit
Taylor?
something else in a couple of minutes.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get out of here. Ms. McDade, do you have any?
I do. I know previously we talked about forming a disaster committee for emergencies, and I think we need to go forth with that. It's hurricane season, and that's something that needs to be done ASAP.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Sure.
I'm positive. I'm so positive.
Mr. Richards?
I have two things. One of them is discussion and possible action to hire an independent investigator to provide a comprehensive report in regards to the creation of the proposed home rule charter that was submitted to the voters in May 2024. And then the second one is, I want discussion and possible action for all open positions.
Open what?
Open positions, employment positions.
Oh,
All vacant employment positions.
anything else, sir? Okay. Now we'll move to agenda item number 11, reports. You want to start, Mr. Captain Miller? You want to start? Are you going to give a police report?
Any comments?
Okay.
Just additional comments. It's just any additional comments.
My only comment is, whether it'll be for November 2nd.
The only thing I have, I just want to thank all of y'all for a great job at the Juneteenth festival. I think it was wonderful. My girls loved it. They had cotton candy, 2 cotton candies, 2 snow cones, tea cakes, chips, and then we hit the ice cream truck on the way out. So they thought it was fantastic. I thought it turned out great, and I think it's just, as I've told several, it's just a testament of getting the committees together, working together, and making something work. So thank you. I want to thank y'all.
Their
Huh?
jewelry.
Oh yes, they also. I spent $40 with the lady who sold $5 jewelry.
I would like to thank you all for working with us and getting everything done in a timely manner. You know, we had a short period of time. And also the Public Works people did an excellent job.
Yes, they
You
did.
did a wonderful job.
Ernest.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Everything went so smooth,
Okay.
besides Daisy.
Do you have anything?
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. And you, Miss Jones?
Sir,
Done.
Nothing? Okay. Agenda item number 12 is adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second. Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.